Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I bid you welcome from wherever it is that you are watching today. Welcome to the Nerdivergent channel. I'm your host, Nerdivergent. Today, we'll be taking a look at The Backrooms, the 2026 sci-fi psychological thriller with strong liminal horror elements. Now, I know a lot of people may call this a sci-fi horror movie, and technically, I understand why. It has jump scares, blood tension, unsettling imagery, and at least one very unsettling scene that makes you want to check your personal space. But to me, this does not play like a traditional horror movie. Backroom is not really doing that. This is more of a sci-fi psychological thriller that leans heavily into liminal horror. It's trying to make you uncomfortable with familiarity. It takes places that should feel normal: offices, hallways, basements, furniture stores, carpeted rooms, and then warps them into something your brain recognizes but can't really trust. A24's official synopsis is wonderfully simple. A strange doorway appears in the basement of a furniture showroom, which is really all you need to know before things start smelling like wet carpet and bad decisions. Now, this is one of the strangest journeys I think I've seen in a thriller movie in a long time. This doesn't start as a novel. It didn't start as a comic book. It didn't even start as a studio pitch. It started as an internet nightmare. Then YouTube gave it a camera. The video game gave it a sprint button. And now A24 has given it a theatrical release. That is either the future of filmmaking, especially after movies like Five Nights at Freddy's, or proof that the internet-born ideas no longer have to follow traditional Hollywood paths to be taken seriously. Before we get into it, would you please hit that like and subscribe and the bell to get all my latest reviews? I'm trying to get to 100 subs, and your help is very much appreciated. Now, let's get into it. The basic idea of the Backrooms comes from a 2019 4chan post involving an image of a strange yellow room and the idea that someone could no-clip out of reality and into an endless maze of ugly fluorescent lit rooms. And let's be honest, the internet looked at one ugly photo and collectively said, yes, this is where the human soul goes to get a performance review. That is kind of amazing because the original idea is so simple. You accidentally leave reality, not through a magic wardrobe, not through a portal opened by a wizard, not by stepping into a glowing machine. You just sort of glitch out of the world and end up somewhere you never were supposed to be. That idea already feels like video game logic. The term no clipping comes from the idea of passing through walls or objects in a game where the normal boundaries of the world stop working. If this happened to you or me, we'd be freaking out. The movie does a good job at showing this horror of uncertainty very well. The Backrooms is not just about monsters in yellow rooms. At least it shouldn't be. The scary part of the Backrooms has always been that it feels familiar, wrong, and distorted at the same time. This is not a haunted castle. This is not a foggy graveyard. This is not a demon hiding in a church basement. This is office lighting, old carpet, empty walls, and a space that feels like every closed down department store you walked through as a kid while your parents were looking for furniture. The Backrooms is horror for anyone who has ever been trapped in a waiting room with no windows and one humming light that sounds like it knows your secrets. And honestly, a furniture showroom is a perfect place to start this story. Furniture stores already feel like little fake worlds you walk through with a living room, then a kitchen, then a bedroom, and none of them belong to anybody. They are designed to look comforting, but nobody lives there. It's basically NPC housing with better lighting and one lamp that costs more than my car payment. The Backrooms should not feel like a Wikipedia page that just jump scares. It needs to feel like a place you accidentally found and immediately regretted finding. The movie follows Clark, played by Chitwell Ejiofor, a furniture store owner connected to this strange, impossible space, with Renate Reinsva playing his therapist Mary, taking place in the 1990s and somewhere in or around San Jose, California. They have been working together for a long time and have built up some trust, using role-playing to help Clark work through his issues. And this is where the movie becomes more relatable to Clark while showing us that Mary is also working through her own issues. This gives the movie a good emotional hook if it uses it well. Because the backrooms are not just about scary things coming out of the walls and that it might chase you, they are scary because they feel endless, empty, and indifferent. This is where the movie can lean into psychological thriller. Is this a real place? Is it a mental breakdown? Is it another dimension? Is it some cosmic storage closet where reality puts all the rooms it forgot to delete? Why can objects from the backrooms come into our world? If the backrooms are made from memories, how did the first memories get there to make it? Or is it a heavier metaphor about healing and change? Maybe the backrooms is not just a strange place, but a reflection of the parts of ourselves we get trapped inside of: pain, regret, fear, self loathing, or the memories we keep replaying until they start to feel like the only reality we know. And maybe the movie is asking whether people can truly move forward before they are ready to see another path. You can help someone, you can guide them, you can stand beside them, but you cannot force healing into someone who is not ready to accept it. At the same time, that does not mean the journey has to be completed alone. Sometimes the first step is realizing that there is another way forward, and sometimes someone else has to help you see the path before you can choose it for yourself. Or maybe sometimes healing needs a goal, sometimes outside the pain, that gives you a reason to keep moving forward. That mystery is the fun part, and like all mysteries, we always wind up answering one question and getting to more. One thing to pay attention to in this movie, if you are a fan of the 4chan and YouTube videos, is whether it preserves the visual language that made the YouTube series work: the found footage, analog distortion, wide empty spaces, fluorescent lighting with the transformer buzzing, and that feeling that the camera is seeing something it was never supposed to see. It has been reported that the movie used professional cinema cameras while recreating the grainy camcorder VCR style look, and that the production was built on a huge physical backroom set instead of relying only on CGI. That matters because the backrooms should feel physical. If the room looks too clean or too digital, the whole thing can lose the feeling that this is a real place hiding behind reality. If the backrooms look too expensive or synthetic, they stop being scary. The horror is that it looks like the carpet section of a bankrupt office and home supply store. I won't go too much further into this movie except to say this. The Backrooms is one of those ideas that sounds simple on the surface: endless yellow rooms, buzzing lights, something might be there with you, but the reason it caught on is because it taps into a very specific fear. It is not the fear of being attacked. It is the fear of being misplaced. The fear that you took one wrong turn and ended up somewhere reality forgot to finish. The Backrooms is what happens when reality has a loading error and nobody from tech support is coming to help. This is why I don't think The Backrooms plays like a traditional horror movie. It's not really going for Jason, Freddy Krueger, Saw, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre horror style movie. This is not about hacking, slashing, chopping body parts, being left around in weird places, and being out of place. This is more of a psychological thriller that leans into liminal horror. It takes spaces that should feel familiar and comfortable, like furniture stores, offices, hallways, carpeted rooms, basements, and then it warps it into something your brain recognizes, but you cannot understand why you don't trust it. The movie even leans into the idea that these places are being misremembered. The more the space is remembered, copied, or recreated, the more details get lost. Like faxing the same image over and over, it loses details and becomes distorted. The walls don't line up right. Furniture ends up where it should not be. People and objects start blending into the floor. Reality starts no clipping. Not like a video game glitch, but like the world itself is forgetting how to stay coherent. That to me is where the fear comes from. The Backrooms is not scary because it's covered in blood. It's scary because it feels like a memory of comfort that has gone bad or has even been warped into something unsettling. Now, you're probably wondering at this point of the video, would I recommend this movie? I give The Backrooms a 4.5 out of 10. And that score may seem a little harsh because there are things here that I genuinely like. The concept is strong and not overdrawn. The visual style works very well. The pacing is very well managed. And the idea of taking something that started as an internet lore and turning it into a full theatrical movie is fascinating on its own. But fascination is not the same as satisfaction. That is where the movie starts to lose me. For a story built around memory, trauma, and impossible spaces, the movie never fully pulled me into the emotional journey. Clark and Mary both have their interesting pieces to their characters, but they don't come together strongly enough for the ending to feel complete. It feels like two people reaching the end of the same story, and more like two separate stories being brushed together against each other to try and get to an end. This is why I think it would have worked better as a 2 or 3-part miniseries. Give the characters more room, give the backrooms more time to develop, let the mystery breathe without flipping the story so quickly. Because the movie does leave you with questions, and some of those questions are interesting. My wife and I talked about it all the way home, and even after we got home, trying to figure out what was actually happening, how the backrooms worked, and what the movie is trying to say about memory and reality. But the problem is, a movie should not only become interesting after it's over. So would I recommend seeing it in theaters? If you're already into the backrooms, liminal spaces, or internet horror, then yes, I think there is enough here to make it worth watching. But for most people, I'd say it's wait for streaming. This is not a must-see theater experience. It's more of a watch at home, think about it afterward, and decide how much of it worked for you kind of movie. Let me know in the comments if you first found out about the Backrooms from the original Creepypasta, the Kane Pixels YouTube series, the game, or if the movie is your first time stepping into the Yellow Nightmare. And also, let me know if you want me to go into a full spoiler breakdown of the movie. Try not to give too much away here. Before leaving, would you please hit that like and subscribe, and the bell to get all my latest reviews. I'm trying to get to 100 subs, and your help is very much appreciated. Please look at my gaming channel over here on YouTube at Nerdivergent 199 Gaming. The link is in the description. With that said, we'll see you all at the next one. Take care.